Manchester United's stance on Joshua Zirkzee has been all over the place this summer. One report says Juventus have got their man. The next says United won't sanction a permanent sale at any price. And underneath all that noise is a familiar shape, a technically gifted, unusual forward who doesn't fit neatly into the striker or a winger or an attacking midfielder, getting written off as a bust, getting written off as a flop. United have been here before with Dimitar Berbatov. We have seen it. I don't think that they need to make the same mistake twice. Because there's a player in world football right now doing Joshua Zirkzee's exact job at an elite level. He just won the World Cup doing that exact job. And his name is Mikel Oyarzabal. I hope I pronounced his name right. And by the end of this video, you are going to see Joshua Zirkzee completely different. Let's start with the stats. Because the stats are exactly why so many fans want him gone. Since his £36.5 million move from Bologna in the summer of 24, Zirkzee has scored 9 goals and added 4 assists in 75 appearances for Manchester United across all competitions. Last season alone, he managed just 2 goals in 26 games. His valuation has slipped from 42.5 million euros. United paid down to somewhere in the region of 30 to 35 million range. But the thing about this situation, on raw output across 2 different managers, Erik and Hag and Ruben Amorim, this reads like one of the clearer transfer flops in the last few years. But here is the contradiction that the numbers don't explain. Under brand new head coach Michael Carrick, in United's first 2 preseason friendlies, Zirkzee has arguably been a standard attacker on the pitch. Starting against Wrexham, then scoring an outrageous solo goal in the 5-0 demolition of Rosenborg, gliding past 2 defenders on the edge of the box. 2 friendlies, I understand, doesn't erase 2 years of underperformance, but it is a clue. And once you understand what that clue is pointing to, you would understand exactly how this becomes a genuine success story instead of a cautionary tale. To understand the fix, you first need a diagnosis of what is wrong in this situation. Zirkzee didn't break into Europe's most exciting attacks by accident. At Bologna under Thiago Motta, he was the connective tissue of the whole team. A forward who dropped off the front line into pockets between the opposition's midfield and the defensive line, took the ball on the half turn and that huge frame shielding it from defenders, and then picked out the runner, making the actual penetrative movement in behind. He wasn't the guy attacking space. He was the guy creating it for somebody else to attack. That's a specific archetype. Football people call it false 9, or increasingly a 9.5. Not a target man, and definitely not an in-behind sprinter, but a line-breaking passer that is disguised as a creator who happens to be the furthest player forward. Now look at how Manchester United have actually used him. Under Erik ten Hag, especially in Ruben Amorim's back 3 system, Zirkzee was frequently asked to play an isolated point of attack, competing directly with centre-backs for the first contact on long balls or shuffled out to the flanks entirely, which is close to opposite of his skill set. He's not winning aerial duels as a lone striker in behind a compact back three. And he is not beating a full back for pace out wide. He's not doing it. He is being miscast twice by 2 different managers, running 2 different systems, and the common thread is neither one of them actually got exactly what he needs or understood exactly what he needs. Now, I'm not saying I am better than Erik ten Hag or better than Ruben Amorim, but based on what I've watched, based on the things that I've seen in Joshua Zirkzee's game, the job as a manager is to enhance his good parts and shield his bad parts, his weaknesses, enhance his strengths and cover his weaknesses. That is what I know, and that is what I believe a manager's job is for the entirety of the team. And for Joshua Zirkzee, the ball needs to be in the pocket, facing the game, with a runner already ahead of him. That is what Joshua Zirkzee needs for him to be a success at United. That is it. But now, maybe because I'm speaking on this situation, you'll be like, give me an example of how Joshua Zirkzee could be a successful elite striker in the Premier League or an elite striker in world football. So this is where proof of this profile can actually work on the top level. And that's what I'm about to give you, because we just saw it in the World Cup. You don't have to look very far. Look at Mikel Oyarzabal. Mikel Oyarzabal is a one-club man, Real Sociedad captain since he broke through into their first team as a teenager. Over 400 appearances and more than 130 goals for the Basque club. That's never come close to matching Real Madrid or Barcelona transfer budget. He has scored the winning goal in the Euro 2024 final. This summer, he was part of the Spain squad that beat Argentina in the 2026 World Cup final, adding a second World Cup medal to his cabinet. That already includes a Nations League title, last season's Copa del Rey, which he scored in Copa del Rey too. Heading into this summer tournament alone, he racked up 11 goals and 6 assists in his previous 10 caps for Spain. I need you to understand who I'm talking about. The archetype that I'm talking about, I need you to understand it. This isn't a nearly man at all. This isn't somebody that is coming up in the reins. No, it's not. This is one of the most decorated attacking players in world football over the last 2 years. Doing his job in the most casual fan. He's doing his job, god damn it. And the most casual fans would not even be able to name him. But if you watch football, if you watch Spain in this World Cup, you can absolutely understand that these two players are literally on the same coin. They are just both sides of the same coin. It's just both sides of the same coin. Depending, you ask. You understand? Depending on who you ask. Oyarzabal is listed as a left winger or a number 10 or a forward, because his actual job changes shape depending on the phase of play. His signature movement is dropping off the front line into the half space, the pocket between the opposition's midfield and the back line, receiving on a half turn and combining with the deeper midfielders. Think Pedri, think Fabian Ruiz at international level. That movement drags the centre back or the full back out of position. And the moment he does, a teammate, think Nico Williams, think Lamine Yamal, an overlapping fullback, think Pedro Porro, attacks the space, think Marco Correa. They attack the space that defender just vacated. Oyarzabal doesn't sprint in behind. That's not his game. He arrives late after the space is already open to finish the move he started. I need you guys to understand this. This is the key part of why Joshua Zirkzee has been miscast at Manchester United. This is the blueprint for Joshua Zirkzee. It is the classic false 9 trade-off. You drop deep, you get the numbers advantage building attack. You get the numbers advantage in the midfield, but you risk having nobody in the box when the move actually arrives. Oyarzabal's entire career is proof that trade-off understandably can be a disadvantage if fullbacks do not understand that the player they're playing with is not the quickest, or it's not going to be arriving in the box like as if it's Cristiano Ronaldo running into the near post. But he's always going to be in the right position at the right time in the space for a check back. And that trade-off for Oyarzabal absolutely disappears. It disappears. as long as the genuine runner is understanding the system and understand the structure around him. It truly is. So let me actually make a parallel between Joshua Zirkzee and Oyarzabal, because I need you guys to understand this absolutely clear. Now put Zirkzee's Bologna profile next to Oyarzabal, his actual job description, and it's almost 1-to-1 match. Both are technically gifted. Both are in football intelligent forwards who are at the most dangerous, receiving the ball in the pocket, facing the play, rather than in their back to goal fighting for a flick on like Rasmus Højlund. Both generate as much values for their team as they do for their own goal tally. Both can look anonymous for long stretches if you play them the wrong way. And both can be devastating the moment a manager builds a real runner into the shape around them. The difference is in talent. It's structure, people. It is structure that Manchester United have not been able to put around Joshua Zirkzee. Sir Alex Ferguson, one of the greatest managers of all time to do it, understood playing in the Premier League versus playing in Europe. He understood when to bring a player like Tevez, Wayne Rooney, and Cristiano Ronaldo, when to bring the likes of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Chicharito. Those are the things that you absolutely have to understand and to put in context when you're making decisions about this team. The difference is in talent. I'm telling you, it's structure. Oyarzabal has never had to do the entire job alone. Sociedad and Spain build a genuine outlet into the team around him. Let me give you an example. Oyarzabal has played for Real Sociedad all his life. And the funny thing about Oyarzabal, he also played for De La Fuente, Luis De La Fuente, I believe is his name, while he was in under 20, and he changed to under 23 and now in the senior team. De La Fuente has always used Oyarzabal and has gotten success every single step of the Spanish football. Every single step. And that's to tell you that he understands what he has in Oyarzabal and he built around them. That is the reason why Yamal is very important. That's the reason why Nico Williams is very important. Pedro Porro, Cucurella is very, very important. And that is also the reason why he brings on Dani Elmo to start rather than Pedri. Or he puts Fabian Ruiz rather than Pedri to start in the most important games. Because Oyarzabal will give you that overload. But as he gives you that overload, he needs the threatening wingers to go into those spaces that he just created for every single person. I'm telling you. Someone whose role is to attack the exact space in this movement would unlock Joshua Zirkzee and what he can give to Manchester United. For 2 years at Man United, Most has been the only advanced. He has been the most advanced attacking option in the picture. It doesn't make any sense. He really doesn't. In that situation, he's been asked to do things that he does not have in his locker. That is most part of his weaknesses. It's like asking Paul Scholes to go in for set pieces and not stay in the front of the box in order for him to be able to shoot the ball in the back of the net if the second ball drops to him. It's like asking David Beckham to not go make the set or cross the set piece and be the one to put the head to knock the ball in the box. It doesn't make any sense. This right here is a structural failure from Manchester United. But the thing about it is that structural failures are fixable. And so we need to start fixing it, rather than everybody thinking that Joshua Zirkzee should be leaving the football club. So how does Michael Carrick actually build around this? This is how it translates to Old Trafford. Michael Carrick has settled United in a 4-2-3-1 shape that can then shift to a 4-4-2 without the ball, or a 4-3-3 in possession. Bruno Fernandes has been freed up to play in his natural number 10 role again after years of being shuffled around under Ruben Amorim. Benjamin Šeško and Bryan Mbeumo are the club's most direct central options. Mateus Cunha and Hamad Dogu are both providing with in this Manchester United team. But here's the opening. Bruno Fernandes cannot play 60 games in the Champions League season all by himself. He cannot, in my mind. He shouldn't be that. He is 32 or 31 years of age. And reports out of Old Trafford this week suggest that Carrick still isn't fully settled on the central forward pecking order. That's the gap. Play Zirkzee as a rotational option in their number 10 role behind Brian Mbeumo, and you will get the Oyarzabal blueprint. Or let me say, if you are playing in a team that all they want to do is to follow the striker, you can sense it in the first half. You can sense that this is the way that they are defending the striker, and the balls in behind are not working. Putting Joshua Zirkzee in that situation, but making sure you have a fullback or you have wingers that would always understand their role to running behind would work. Zirkzee drops into the pocket, disguises the pass, and Šeško or Mbeumo does the actual running into the space created instead of competing with them for the exact same job. You get me? I'm also believing that I believe Joshua Zirkzee can also play that false nine role. We just have to put a structure around him for that. There's also a second version in this situation. Carrick has already shown he's comfortable shifting personnel and shape mid-game in a genuine front two league club rotation. A tricky night in the Champions League group stage. Zirkzee and Šeško, or Zirkzee and Mbeumo playing a two-striker partnership. Think Andy Cole, you get me? Think Andy Cole and that era. That is what we could be seeing in this situation. This is actually division of labor. One drops to link, the other attacks the space, it opens up. It could work in the Champions League, in league games, in FA Cups, even in the Premier League. Because every single person is thinking about 4-2-3-1. Nobody is thinking about the 4-4-2 that football was made famous for or with. Nobody is thinking about that. So that would throw a spanner in the works. And the funny thing about this situation is that in case it doesn't work when we are without the ball, with the ball, it becomes a 4-2-3-1. You get me? Because he drops in. Without the ball, you can still get a 4-4-2. So he also works in that situation. You get me? This is exactly how Oyarzabal has operated in a front two for both club and country. Manchester United have the runners. Now they just have to give these people the license and create a structure that would let Zirkzee actually do his job. Which brings us back to this summer transfer noise. Juventus want a second striker alongside Kolo Muani, and Zirkzee's name keeps coming up. Some reports this month said it is all but agreed that he would move to. Most recent report says that United have actually hardened their stance, a loan at most, not a permanent sell. If you are Manchester United and you have just watched the most misaligned attacking signing look like your best player in pre-season, right as a head coach arrives with a cleaner tactical framework that actually closes the gap from a centre forward, selling him now for a price already well below what you paid is exactly the kind of decision that the club has made before and regretted. Manchester United fans know this story already. A gifted, unusual forward gets written off because he was never built in the right system. And somebody else reaps the benefit 2 years later. The Oyarzabal blueprint says United don't have to let this happen again. They have to actually use him in the right way, in the right moment. So here's the question for you, in the comments, of course. Is Joshua Zirkzee worth building a role around, or has Old Trafford already seen enough? Let me know below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button for more Manchester United tactical analysis all season. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.